Nibe Kisageiko Kimi Kwechuenimiko Kishawenimiko Nibe Kisageiko Kimi Kwechuenimiko Kishawenimiko. Nibe Kisageiko Kimi Kwechuenimiko Kishawenimiko.
Dr. Emoto, he's done a lot of really credible research that's now being recognized by scientists from all over the world. And what he discovered was that you really truly can change the molecules in the water simply by words of love, words of appreciation. Those kinds of things can begin to actually change the pollution in the water. And he's done a lot of experiments now where he's had people from different parts of the world that would gather to really have an intention of praying for the water, if you will, or sending positive thoughts to the water. And that practice has spread around the globe. And a lot of that was done to help bring about healing of the Gulf Coast with the oil spill, to really bring about healing of water in contamination with Japan. So it's really spreading around the globe, literally, to really look at how we appreciate the water within ourselves, how we appreciate the water of our earth, and how we make sure we've got clean water for the next 7 generations, and then for them to pick it up and continue to have clean water.
Call went out to elder women to gather at sacred Moninkwene Kaning Minis, which means Flicker Island in the Ojibwe language. She is called Madeline Island in English. She is the largest of the 22 Apostle Islands in Lake Superior and the historical sacred center of the Ojibwe Nation.
48 elder women heard the call and came from 11 states and 6 Indigenous nations. We gathered for 4 days and 3 nights from August 11 through August 14 in 2011.
We came to express gratitude to Lake Superior and all water, to create and communicate a vision of Lake Superior and all waters as healthy, vital, and balanced, now and for future generations. And we came to gift and celebrate Lake Superior and all water as one, with each other and the community.
During the 4 days, we met in small talking circles using the process outlined in the book, Calling the Circle by Christina Baldwin, which is to speak with intention, to listen with attention, to self-monitor, and to include our diverse ways of appreciating water.
The first day we went to Lake Superior and greeted her like a beloved friend. We returned another day and offered prayers through pipe ceremonies and individual expressions. We listened to her patiently and shared with each other her response.
On the 3rd day, we hosted an open intergenerational community event, and 13 of us spoke to the public about the lake and what she taught us. The Three Fires Meday Lodge women honored us, the island, and the water by bringing the little boy water drum and singing sacred songs. That evening, women from the community joined us in a powerful full moon ceremony led by Sue Nichols of the Three Fires Meday Lodge. We are grateful to the women, men, and children that came to listen and speak with us that day.
On our very last day, we gifted Gitchigaaming with a water blessing song called Nibi Wabo. Then we created a prayer bundle offering that we put in the lake with love.
In our circle this morning, we were asked to share how the lake spoke to you. For me, it didn't speak to me. For me, I felt something. And Madeline Island, as you know, had been inhabited by Anishinaabe people hundreds and hundreds of years ago, before the Jesuits came, before other humans, other newcomers came. And in the journey here to Madeline Island has been a very sad journey for me as Anishinaabe Kwe, in terms of how I feel, how I felt, how I still feel about Madeline Island and Lake Superior. It is my home, it is our home, the home of the Anishinaabe. And I was asked, what did you hear from the lake? I do not hear anything from the lake. I feel from the lake. I feel from the island. And the feeling is, come back. Come back. That's the way I feel. I want them to come back.
My name is Beatrice Jackson, Swooping Down Eagle Woman, and my family comes from Ketchikan, Alaska, and they come from Lower Nicola in Merritt, British Columbia. But I've lived amongst the Great Lakes for over 35 years, and I've come to love these waters, come to love these people. And the time spent with our grandmothers here has been some of the most beautiful time I've ever had in my life. Because we have women here from all walks of life. We have psychologists, we have homemakers, we have dancers, we have singers, we have writers. We have women of doing their work in a good way. And for whatever reason, they have found themselves coming to this sacred place, coming to listen, coming to be together with complete understanding of who we are in our age of wisdom, our age of knowing, our age of sharing, our way of knowing without a shadow of a doubt that yes, we have walked a big walk, but we have further to go. We have more people to talk to when we go home. We have people to inspire to take care of our earth. We have media, we have politicians, we have big businesses, we have all these scientists to say, the water is real, the water is alive, the water lives, we want to live, we want our children in the womb to be healthy with good waters, with good foods that come from the earth. We want this for this coming generation, and we cannot sit idly by and just be old people. We are not old people. We are strong people of every nation, of every walk of life. So we come together as grandmothers. We come together because we know when we go home, people will listen. They will listen quietly to our voices. They will see us still wearing our skirts, still carrying ourselves with a glow that comes from being together as women of all cultures. When we stood by those waters in partners, we came with someone we didn't know, and we showed love to them by giving them a gift, by bringing them to the water and sharing in the beauty of that special moment. And it made me think of my sisters. And I had 5 sisters. It made me think how beautiful that life is. And why don't we do this more at home? Why don't we walk with our family on those beaches, on those sacred mountains, Why don't we do these things more often and treat ourselves kind? Treat ourselves with love.
Bonjour. Gizi Queen Indigenous cause, Dodam Gizi, Waswagning and Dunjiba. Chimiwich Gitchigaaming, Dapna, Sema, Gitchigaaming, Akini Mama, Zagaigan, Uningunan, Ministers. I say, Janganashing in this English to you. I want to greet each one today, the Great Spirit, the Creator of all living, and to thank Him for giving us the sacred breath of life. Each one of you are sacred, and if you don't think so, look in the mirror, take a little breath, blow it, and you'll see the reflection of who you are. Today I received this little angel just before I was coming out here to speak, so I like that, and the angels are always with us, the money do wug, the spirits are always with us, so we have to honor them and respect them, and they'll give us things that we need, you know, they hear us, and I was coming here and I went and seen this lady, and she had a little healing ceremony for me, and she said there's 4 things of grace, and that is to say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. So you can project those healings to people in that in kindness and love, and sometimes you might take them a gift or something and say I love you, or you know, and keep teaching your young people. We have to think about 7 generations to come behind us, so we help prepare that way. I just want to encourage everybody to live a good life, you know, be Madeline Island, and I want to thank the little boy drum for being here, and my elders here, that Margaret and this lady here. She's you know, awesome. I can't even acknowledge how much this lady has given of herself to walk across this Mother Earth to the water, pray for the water, to teach a lesson. And I heard a younger girl say, well, I'm glad you did that for us. I didn't have to do that for anybody. So it's like, okay, let's get up here and help her, you know. So, but I honor you very much for doing that for us.
My mother is from the Choctaw, Mississippi band of Choctaw, and I'm traveling around, I guess. And going out to the lake yesterday, the question was to see what the lake message was coming to us, and the message was coming to me in the form of a vision, and the vision was very much a projection about the lake being alive and being a center, and being able to contain the tree of life that would reach out to other waters, to help other waters to be clean. And how we do this is a thing to figure out, each of us, to how can we as individuals help this process happen so that our water's not totally destroyed, and that we can incorporate that in a global sense, not just here, but for many places. And another grandmother in the group talked about, as an example for here, perhaps some way to link arms all the way around the lake as an example of recognizing the connection, and then I can see that flowing through the lake to other through this tree of life that I just can't get the vision to go away, that it connecting to other things all over the world, that we can do this. It can be done if we are all together and starting, for example, connecting, embracing the lake here, and also by helping the lake and the people who are in connection with it to join together, to share rather than to divide. And that was the message that I got from the lake. I'm so honored to be here. I am proud to be a part of what's going on here. I love these grandmothers. I love grandmother Josephine, particularly her feet. And I appreciate grandmother Margaret Behan being here from the 13 Indigenous grandmothers as well. And then all my wonderful sister grandmothers here. I love every one of you.
We all know grandmothers come in many shapes and sizes, but maybe not at many ages. So it was a surprise for me to be called forth to speak today. But I honor the way Spirit moves, and I also honor my commitment to serve. And when I was standing at the lake, feeling very blessed to be here and to be part of this, I was in silence, listening, and I wasn't hearing anything. I was feeling great peace, but I wasn't hearing anything. And I finally realized that I was expecting to hear something. And when I let go of that expectation into the water, this is when I felt and heard her speak to me. And what she said, also with the island spirit, the island Madeline Island stepped up too. And they both said to me, we have many things to tell you, many things to share. And just as I was deepening into that listening place, I hear my group behind me, Kristen, come, we have to leave. It's time to go. Again, I had to choose to not be defeated in that. So I said to the waters with very much humility, and as gracefully as I could, I honor your voice and your speaking to me, and I will come back and listen much more, and I will hear all of the things that you want to share with me. And then I left. Well, before I left, she said, well, before I let you go, there's one very important thing that I have to say, and that was loud as thunder. It sounded like thunder coming over me. She said, come home. Simply 2 words, come home. And when she spoke that to me, I felt the expansion of those 2 small words become as big as the world. And I knew that it was a message deeply personal to me, but also for all of us, and especially to the beautiful people of this island, to come home. I had been so fortunate to hear many of Grandmother Josephine's stories about the people here and the teachings, and so I know how much that means to the island. And when I looked at it deeper in my reflection time, I realized too that this goes for all of us to come home. That we can only make a difference when we come home and we trust our heart and we trust Spirit to give voice through ourselves. This is the only way that we can make true change.
I want to thank everyone who's here and thank the little boy drum and all the grandmothers who are here. All of them are older than me. Okay, well, this is going to be a story, so anybody who wants to hear a story. This is from August 2011, Lake Superior. O divine element, water, hear my prayer, hear my prayer, hear my prayer. I follow the thread, a dream leading me back to this very place, but long, long ago. Creator decided it was time for another great creation. Creator looked this way and that, and called out to the beings who must be present at every beginning: earth, water, fire, air. And they came at Creator's call, from the farthest, darkest places of non-being. Forth they came, and Creator began the dance. Each element joined in, and a great cosmic swirl emanated through space. And the dance went on until each element was entwined with the other, and Creator was hidden within. And it was good. And so it came to be that a very small drop of the cosmic element water came to be here, on this place we call Earth. And that drop is now, today, called Lake Superior. She remembers the beginning, and she knows the way. She has a voice, often speaking through us. Shed your past. Remember your divine self. Let the scales fall from your eyes. All the voices of the grandmothers vibrate at the shore. Awake, 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 awake! And to take into your lungs a breath of this river of air. And another, join with us in this breath. And another. And I invite you to close your eyes and envision the lake in her beauty. And envision the islands and the shore and the creatures in all their forms on this lake. Hear the sounds, feel the breeze, the waves lapping. Think of your feet in the water and the gentle caress, the feel of the sand. Root yourself in that sand. Feel yourself strengthen in that. Let it become in your being. Let the vision be in your being. In your mind's eye, open your eyes and reach over and look down and see your image in that lake. That is how much she loves you. You are not separate from her. She is part of you. You need no intercessor. You need no one to speak to the lake for you. Go to the lake. Ask her what she needs. Petition. Give her your love. Turn and share. Share with those you love. Share with those in community. Share with those that can make a difference. Share with those in power. But always carry with you that beauty of the lake. in your heart. Carry her with you. She is part of you, and you are most certainly part of her.
I come from Pensacola, Florida, which is the Gulf of Mexico. And my journey began by driving to Alabama and getting two good friends and driving to come here. This is the first time that I have been to Lake Superior. And it's so interesting because I came for grandmother wisdom, and now I'm talking. Yesterday, we went to the lake, and it's my second time at the sacred place that we've been allowed to go. And I asked the lake what the lake would have me know. And I walked into the water, and I planted my feet, and I looked. I don't know much about this lake, but the lake this time, the first time was very calm, but this time had little flow and ebb, exceedingly clear. And as I waited, I saw the top of the lake had eddies and patterns and beauty. And there was the clear water, and on the bottom of the lake, there were other patterns, but they weren't changing as much. Beautiful, beautiful patterns. And the patterns on the top changed, as in the appearances of the world, as above, so below. And the bottom of the lake had patterns that would change, but slowly. The truth of the ground. And I knew that we had the air, and I knew we had the clarity of the beautiful lake, the life that we lived. And I knew that the top of the lake was the appearances of life, and the bottom was the grounded truth, the foundation that we stand in. But there was more, because I don't know this lake. And as I stood there, I looked, and a little stream of bubbles came up from the bottom. And I stood there, and about a minute later, in the same spot, another stream of bubbles came up from the bottom. And as I continued to stand there, I don't know how long, another stream of bubbles came up from the bottom. And I don't know this lake. I don't know if this lake has crabs like we do in the Gulf of Mexico. I don't know what's alive down here, but I didn't want to disturb it, so I looked, and the bubbles came back up. And so I thought, I'll go and I'll ask somebody that knows about lakes. And so I backed out, and I marked the sand, and I went and I found a new friend. And I knew she was from here, and I asked her, I said, you know this lake. He said, do you have crabs? Do you have clams? What do you have that would make bubbles that would come up on a regular basis? And they said, no, it's too cold. And I said, well, will you come? And she took her time away from what she was doing, and she came, and we went to where I marked, and we walked in, and we walked, and we watched. And the bubbles came up in the same spots. And we waited, and the bubbles came up in the same spots. And she said, I don't know what that is. And she went on. So I stood, and I said, okay, Meg, I got it. You know, we have the beautiful wind, and we have as above, and so below. The beauty and the strength of life is your clear water that flows in you and in me. And then I got it, clear as a bell. The lake told me, the lake is breathing for our planet. Last night I woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I really, really got it. And I was so glad that I had gone to get my friend to come and look at the bubbles. Because at 3 o'clock this morning I would be going, did I imagine that? But I'm telling you that those bubbles were coming up. And that was the gift of the lake. In our group we shared, and one of the most significant things I heard, a very precious person, as a matter of fact the person that came and watched the bubbles with me said, the time for waiting is over. The time is now. So when I go back to the Gulf Coast, I'm going to tell about this beautiful world and these beautiful people and the water walk. The time for waiting is over. The time is now.
We went down to the lake, and unlike Mary, I live here. I live in Duluth, so I get to see the lake. and the beauty of the lake and the power of the lake. But I have to confess that I don't take as much time to go and be there at the lake and be quiet. That's one of the things that this weekend has taught me, is that I need to take that time to nurture myself, but to listen so that I can hear what the lake is saying and share it with others. And I first listened and I watched the waves, and it's amazing. Each wave is different. Even the same wave is different from one part to the other. The left would be a little different than the right. And they would each come in and they'd be very, very, very different. And so I closed my eyes and I listened, and I heard the sound of the waves. It's very soothing. But again, there was a difference from the left to the right. You know, here's one little sound, here's another little sound. So as I listened and watched the waves, I realized that here's this big expanse and we are all one. But within that oneness, we're also very unique. And we need to honor that uniqueness that each one of us has. And sometimes that's easier to do than others. There's some people that are very lovable, and there's other people that are hard to love. There are those that have, sometimes we call them disabilities, uniquenesses, that really make them hard to love. But we're all one, and we are each unique at the same time. But the vision I had then, as I kept thinking, was, here's this lake, and I saw the lake as clear, pure, life-giving. But I thought of all the streams and the rivers that run into it, all the bodies of water that run into it, and all of those that flow out of it, because out of it it goes to eventually to the ocean, and all the waters are one. And my vision was that all the waters within the earth would be pure and clear, that people everywhere would have clean water, pure water to drink.
Uhu, Medinaway Maganak. Migisin in Dode, Minawana Gozi Koyan Indigenous. Wasa Shawanam, Indujaba. Greetings to all my relations, human and finned and furred, and I'm honored to be here and grateful. As I was walking here on the island a day before the gathering began, my friends Nick and Maddie put me up at their house, and I was walking around exploring the woods, and I came upon a grove of Nokomis Gijik, grandmother cedar, and she just welcomed me, and she and we have a really close relationship. And of course she said, of course you're going to a grandmother's gathering, of course I've got to be there. So she did, she came in. She's here with us, and she's a sacred grandmother. She gives her gifts of protection of spirit, protection from disease of all kinds. And just by smelling her, after the end you can come and just say hi to her. She'll be right here. So as I was walking there, I'd been asked to think about a story about water that could be shared, a message to send. And yesterday we were at the lake, and I've been listening all this time. And I want to give credit to my friend Makwa, who's here. She planted a little seed of a story. She said, why don't you talk about how water is in everything? So over 70% of a human body is water. And water is everywhere. Without water, we cannot live. our planet would not exist without water.
We went to the shore, and I loved being at the beach. I loved looking at the lake and listening to the lapping waves, and I was told to listen to what the lake had to say to me. But it started out by having a conversation with the lake, because I guess I had a few things to say to her. So last night I was in a writing group, and I just wrote what I remembered of my time with Gitchigaaming. Waves lapping, gently slapping, mother calling, calling without surcease. Mother, tell me, speak to me. What do you want from me, from us? Gently whispering. Today I whisper, today I merely ask. I have been known to snatch away and bury life, but today I merely ask. Come into me and let me fold you, rock you in my arms. Swaying, sinking in the sand to ankle depth, to shins, to knees. I can't break free without a helping hand. I scramble, climb back up the bank. I hear you lapping, gently lapping, lapping your sad goodbye. What power and love, what mighty strength lies deep within your sacred body. How can we know you, love you, care for you without our own demise? My children, hear me whisper shout to you. My power to harm is much less deep than my desire to love. I wash your lives. I feed and nurture all living things. I feed you, fill you up with berries and fruits. I fill your forests with trees. I send you fish and other living things to nourish your bodies. I am within you, lapping and caressing, always moving and sending waves throughout your spirit body. I am here for you. I have always been. I weep to feel dishonored and violated. Mend the earth. Honor my being. Tell the story. Sing the song. Speak the truth. Dance in the moonlight and honor me. I live for you, within you, all around you. I will live forever, but only you can decide my living condition. When you are gone, I will remain. What will your daughters have from me? Their children, and even yet theirs. Love me, honor me, respect me. I give you everything.
But the most excellent message here in this little tiny finger, which in Kung Fu Panda land is most strong, is that if we have our intention and we sing with the rhythm of the lake, and we hold that intention, and we don't ask for it for any more things, but if we're happy with what we have. So I have another song, and it came from our group, and it's about communication. So, I sing to the lake,
Sing to the lake,
and the lake hears me,
and the lake hears me.
She sings to the wind,
She sings to the wind,
and the wind is free,
and the wind is free,
and the free wind sings,
and the free wind sings
to the tall, tall trees.
to the tall, tall trees.
And the tree bends I talk about this gathering, you know, because I was here last year and you know, we answer the call, you know, whether we know it or not, while you're here to listen to these grandmothers and their personalities, their life experience, expressing themselves. And of course I'm putting a little bit of myself here as to say how grateful, how honored I am to be with them, to be part of you and your work, and to say thank you in person, you know, for this great discussion, this great prayer you brought here, and even for my heart, you know, my ancestors, the Cheyenne and the Arapaho came this way too. They migrated through the Great Lakes, and I believe that's why I'm standing before you, to come and reclaim, you know, these ancestors. I want to say to each one of you, my grandmother used to always say, I've heard the saying before, what you sow is what you reap, you know. Whatever you're doing here, you're going to get it back. You're going to see it. It's not for nothing here. When I became one of the 13, my first issue, as each one of the 13 grandmothers had a special wish, and it was about the water. Because where I live, I live on the Northern Cheyenne Reservation with my fathers. There's a community there that doesn't have water. So all the meaning of water, what water means to me, was brought up, you know, in listening to each one of you. I'm a good example of the International Council of 13 Grandmothers. We are, you know, still here. I remember the first 2 years, people would say, oh, they're just like the tooth fairies, they'll come and go. So we are in our 10th year, the International Council. Our mission is world peace and healing Mother Earth. And being here today, I can really tell the grandmothers, when we have our next council meeting, which is in Brazil, Brasilia, starting October 15th, I will give them the update on this gathering. When I go and say prayers, and I tell the grandmothers, we have to pray for Madeline Island, the water. And the other thing that's special to me is the woodpecker, the flicker, and the story told, and I'm not even supposed to talk about this for my people, you know, it's so sacred. Cheyenne people, we cannot start our ceremony, our highest ceremony, without this bird. And when I came here, I said, that's all I need to know about this place. So I thank each one of you, and hear me again that I'm very proud of you, because I know that you're making a change. Just like my 8-year-old granddaughter. I heard her talking on the phone, and she said, said, you can't think bad thoughts.
because you pollute the world. And that made me cry. She knows, she gets it. At 8 years old, and telling her friends. So in every way that you're helping, every way that you're healing this earth, like Grandma's prophecy when she speaks, the earth starts healing. So I thank you again. Yeah, Shaman, aho nihifs, nishwats tests. My hands, my hands, my hands, my hands.
Listen to the rain. Listen to the rain. Can you see the lightning as it takes away the pain? Then along comes the thunder with so much to say. They're here for you and me now. Thank our grandmothers today.
I come from Colombia, and the Kogi people, I don't know if you heard about them. They live in the north part of Colombia. And in the 90s, they give this message. They came out and gave a message, a warning to the younger brother, they call us the younger brothers, about our water, how there was something that we were doing wrong with the water over here, because the heart of the world where they live is dying. So that affected me, my consciousness. And then in 2004, they did a special with the National Geographic. And again, they sent out the warning. And what they're telling us is that they have their creation story, you know? And what they say, it's at the beginning, there was water, and water was the mother. And she was full of intelligence and full of possibilities. And this mother created, she spun 9 times and made 9 daughters, all of different colors. She had sons too. She had Saranque, Lord of Creation. He made the younger brother. And the mother thought, how are we going to make these human beings from water? And she bled. She had her period, her menstruation, and that's the gold in the world. And now the Kogis say, you know, this is sacred. This gold is sacred. This water is sacred. That's the origin of life, the gold and the water. That's the mystery of life. And the younger brother is destroying it, taking it from where it is and putting it in other places. So again, the warning is, you know, where is your water? What are you doing with your water? And so they came into my dreams like that. What are you doing with the water? What is the water? And I live in the desert. There's no water in the desert. And when I came here, it was so apparent that the Kogis wanted us to be here. On the road, we found somebody that had met the Kogis in a big city, because they're somehow trying to connect with everybody, going different directions. They even went to Bogota, big city, to talk about this. You know, what are you doing with your water? They don't get angry, these Kogis. You know, they don't get angry. They just, younger brother, what's going on? How can I tell you so you understand what's going on? And again, the message is, where is your water? What are you doing to your water? And when I came here, I just realized that I am water. Most of myself is water. And we have to tell the children that water is alive. And that has come from this gathering, you know, that we are all one through water, and that we have to tell the children that. How can we tell the children that? So the Kogis, what are they doing is they're sending their people out to after school programs, teaching the children about the water, you know, how to care for water and how to really realize, come to the realization that water is inside of us and outside of us. And in this gathering, I've cried a lot, lots of tears, lots of sweat. We don't sweat in Arizona. And I just feel so connected with that water. And what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do with this information that I got here? And basically, I think that we're gonna go back and see how we can reach the children and tell them about this water is alive. Because when you tell kids, when they're 6 or 7, you say, water is alive? You're kidding. You're like, what are you talking about? But then they believe you because they see it, you know, they can see it. So that's pretty powerful for me. If we can pass to the children that water is a living being, that tree is a living being, that rock is a living being, that we're all equal, you know, that we can sit in council together. So then the way we approach life would be totally different, you know. We wouldn't pollute, we wouldn't dam the rivers, we wouldn't dirty them or not care about them or waste them, but recognize that. And I think it's important for the children to keep, because they have the information, I think. They come with the information about that. But we take it out of them, you know. When we mistreat the water, we mistreat ourselves. So I think it's important, that equality, and that's what if we can teach the children that, that would be wonderful. It's in all of us, most of us, is water, and it responds. It's so beautiful that it responds. So the water in me responds to the water in you. If we express love and happiness and joy, well, I think that, and waters clean themselves so fast. You know, sometimes you think, oh, this is going to take years to clean this river, and no, the river cleans itself much faster than what we even think, you know. And just some particles, what they say too, I thought it was incredible, that you put this water with love, harmony, happiness, joy into another container, and it permeates. It permeates the rest of the water and cleans the rest of the water, you know. So I think it has great possibilities.
May this film inspire you to appreciate Gitchigaaming and all water. Please join us in visioning all waters of the world as healthy. Consider ways you can show appreciation for the water you hold within your body and the water that supports your community. Miigwech, thank you to Gitchigaaming and Lake Superior and Moninquene-Kaning Minis, Madeline Island.
Tell me, can you feel it? The healing that's begun. The grandmothers have gathered, reminding us to love this earth who is our